Hi, this is Paul Kreutz, and welcome to Halloween How To. In this edition, we are going to create this amazing animated levitating teapot. This Halloween prop creates the illusion of an invisible ghost pouring themselves a cup of tea. How is it done? Well, I'm going to show you how. So let's get started. Here are some of the items that you will need to create this prop, but before we go over those, let's take a quick overview of what we will be making. We are going to take a piece of clear, rigid plastic tubing. On one end, we will connect it to a small fountain pump, and on the other end, we will place a lightweight plastic teapot. The pump is then placed in a reservoir filled with colored liquid. Once the pump is turned on, that liquid travels up the tube and into the teapot, then spilling out and down the outside of the plastic tube, obscuring that tube from view. To animate the teapot, we place the reservoir onto a rotating platform that moves back and forth. And since everything is connected together, the teapot moves back and forth as well. The first thing you will need is a small fountain pump. These can be found at most hardware and garden supply stores. Look for one that pumps between 70 to 80 gallons per hour. Most come with control that allows for more or less flow. Next is the clear rigid plastic, or more accurately, polycarbonate tubing. I purchased this at a plastics specialty store, and it is generally sold by the foot. You will need a piece that is between 18 to 24 inches in length with an outside diameter of around 3/8 inches. You will also need a lightweight plastic teapot. I found this at a thrift store, and make sure that it has a short, open spout. You will need a cup and saucer, and because you will be drilling a hole in both of them, it is important that they are made from plastic, not ceramic. For the reservoir, I picked up a small plastic bucket, and be sure that you find one with a lid. You will be using that too. Now, the moving platform was created by using the bottom portion of an oscillating electric fan, similar to this one that I found at a thrift store. In place of the removed upper fan portion, I attached this round wooden disc from a craft store, and it creates the platform for the bucket to sit on. The pump may come with one or two different adapters, and if the plastic tubing does not quite fit, wrapping it with Teflon tape can remedy that. Once wrapped, make sure that you cut away any tape that might obstruct the flow of liquid. Make sure that you purchase a tubing diameter that fits between the spout and the lid of the teapot. To ensure that the teapot does not shift, take a short, large-headed galvanized nail and glue it with waterproof glue to the inside of the teapot directly across from the spout. Since the end of the tube is now obstructed, carefully drill 2 or 3 small holes to that upper part of the tubing. Once done, rotate the tubing so that the holes face towards the inside of the teapot. Using a flathead drill bit, drill a 1-inch to 1 1/4 inch hole into both the plastic cup and saucer, making sure that the holes line up with each other. Glue a piece of vinyl tubing that is the same diameter as the drilled hole into the hole of the cup, leaving 3/4 to 1 inch sticking up inside the cup, and seal with a waterproof sealant. This will create a small moat where the liquid will collect, giving the illusion that the cup is full of liquid. Assemble the cup and saucer and glue the two together. When done, there should be around 1.5 inches of that vinyl tubing extending from the bottom of the saucer. This will ensure that the liquid is directed back into the reservoir and will not leak to the surrounding area. I've taken the plastic bucket and removed the upper portion. This leaves me with a reservoir of approximately 6 inches by 6 inches. I have also taken the lid and cut it down to the exact diameter of the bottom of the bucket. Now, it is important that the clear, rigid tubing rotates in place at the center axis of the oscillating platform. To ensure that it does this, take that cut down lead and mark the exact center. Then align the pump so that its exit hole lines up with that mark, and trace the pump's outline. Drill 4 small holes along that outline, and using a rust-proof wire, either aluminum or galvanized, securely wire the pump to that plastic disc. Then, using a waterproof glue or epoxy, glue it to the bottom of the bucket. To find the center axis of the oscillating platform, hold a marker near the center as it is moving. This should give you a pretty accurate reference mark for true center. Use that mark to draw the outline of the bucket's base. Then glue the bucket to the platform. I'm using glue dots, which will hold it in place while operating, but will also allow for the bucket's removal for cleaning and storage. So here is an overview of the pump, reservoir, and oscillating motor all assembled and tested for alignment. Next step is to put it all together. For my setup, I've built a T-cart out of 4 inverted stair spindles, 2 pieces of plywood, and some odds and ends of wood trim. Hanging from the top piece of plywood of the T-cart is the platform for the motor, pump, and reservoir to sit, and directly above that is a hole for the teacup and saucer. Once the mechanics are in place, I hide them with a piece of black material and then an old crocheted tablecloth, which is part of the set dressing. After placing the cup and saucer, I fish the plastic tube with the pump fitting on one end down through the cup and saucer and into the pump. Next, the newly embellished plastic teapot is put on the other end of the tube. Instead of gluing the tube to the inside of the teapot, temporarily secure it by using a couple of strips of waterproof tape. This way, when it comes to cleanup and storage, it is easy to disassemble. To keep splashing to a minimum, don't exceed a distance of 6 inches from the end of the teapot spout to the teacup. If need be, you can modify the spout opening by covering its upper portion with clear waterproof tape, and then trim off the edges. You can fill the reservoir with water colored by simple food coloring. However, in my case, I am using a black light, so I mix some water-based black light paint into my water. Then to fill the reservoir, simply pour that colored water into the teacup. After a bit of trial and error, you will be ready to add the rest of the set dressings, backdrop, and special lighting. Well, now we're ready to turn everything on and turn off the lights. Have fun with this ghostly prop, and happy haunting.